Oh, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. Chelsea have won a London derby, a football match against Crystal Palace. A Crystal Palace who had recently gone away to Manchester City treble winners and got a point. No points for them here against Chelsea. 2-1 on the night. Chelsea, of course, have an excellent record against Crystal Palace. I say of late, but a very, very long time ago now. We're going to speak about the game today. First of all, thank you for joining me. Yes, I'm not in the office. I'm not in the studio recording space. I will be on there for every single video, every single day here on Football Therapy, except for perhaps the late night kickoffs where this is a table in my living room while I record here because it will be more streamlined, and for me it's very important I can get the content out to you guys as quick as possible, especially when it comes to complete breakdowns, match reactions like this today. So thank you for joining me. Do consider supporting the content by simply subscribing, liking, hitting the bell if you choose to subscribe. All that good gear. It is a win for Chelsea. It is tough. Chelsea aren't that good a football team at the moment, and we will talk about that in detail, hopefully. But there are positives. Madueke scoring a winner. Christopher Nkunku getting his first start for Chelsea. Lavia making his Chelsea debut in the midfield, and 3 points in the game when we needed to win. There's other positives to talk about, which we will go into today. So thank you for joining me. Make yourself comfortable, and let's get into it. Okay, then. Like I say, hopefully the quality and the sound isn't too bad here. Apparently there could be some issues with audio sync issues. Let me know in the comments and I will try and fix that accordingly. But like I said, daily videos here on Football Therapy will be filmed in the studio with appropriate sound, video, lighting and all that. So this should be a little bit more of a chilled out, relaxed format video. Hopefully the audio sounds good, where we can reflect on Chelsea and where we are at the moment. The day after Boxing Day, if you celebrate Christmas and etc., I hope you had a good festive period, ate some nice food, maybe had a bit of a drink if you are that way inclined, and just had a good time, and now cleansed. We're going into 2024 together, friends, you, me, the whole Football Therapy community, and we're going to, move forwards and be better. So, Wibbly Wobbly Boy Hodgson, the owl, flew down into Stamford Bridge. Like I said, they've got a poor record here with his Crystal Palace side that haven't won in a long, long time. They've had a couple of good draws in there, like I said, most notably away at the treble winners, Manchester City. They got a 2-2 draw there, with a late penalty equaliser from Michael Olise, who indeed was the goal scorer for them today here at Stamford Bridge. They play a 4-3-3, Henderson in goal, Mitchell Klein as fullbacks, with a very good centre-back partnership with, usually very good, Mark Gahey, of course, of the Chelsea Academy, and Anderson, who many people have actually got on their Fantasy Premier League, is a good centre-back. It's good for a goal, and generally in form, these guys can keep clean sheets. Now, the midfield three, interestingly, is listed here on who scored as Schlupp, Richards and Eze, though I see Eze as more as a forward, maybe as a 4-2-3-1, but it looks like Eze was playing in the midfield three here behind. Michael Olise on the right wing, Mateta up front, and Ayew in front as well. They brought on Lerma, started as well. Schlupp and Franca was brought on. Now, Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez was not available. We knew that Raheem Sterling and Cole Palmer, obviously first choice starting wingers, as things stand, were not available due to suspension through accumulation of yellow cards. Were not available, and Reece James is not fit. We know that Ben Chilwell isn't fit. Cucurella isn't available. Starting goalkeeper Rob Sanchez isn't available. Wesley Fofana, centre-back, ain't available. Ugo Chukwu is not available. We got a lot of players out, man. So on the day, we started with Petrovic in goal, who played pretty well. We'll speak about that. Disasi started next to Benoit Badiashile, with Gusto starting at right back, who moved over to left back, who on the day won man of the match on the Amazon Prime coverage. He was excellent in this game. We'll speak about that in more detail. Levi Colwill originally starting at left back, coming off though for Gusto to move over. So Gusto, despite only being 20 years old, is a trusted right back, left back player for Pochettino. Like, you can do either side. Like Cucurella, but Cucurella is like, what, 25? Gusto's 20, and we bought him when he was 19. So for such a young player to show his intelligence and dynamism on both sides is very, very positive indeed. I mean, you could also say that's testament to how desperate Chelsea are at the moment, in the trenches we are, but still at the same time, very, very impressive. We saw Caicedo start with Gallagher in a double pivot. We saw Christopher Nkunku playing in the number 10, so we are going back to pre-season vibes here with Pochettino, how he wanted to play with Chelsea in the pre-season. So Nkunku was behind Jackson up top, and on the left we saw Mykhailo Mudryk, we saw Martin play on the right wing, we saw substitute appearances from Noni Madueke on the right wing, coming on for Martin, Lavia coming on for a different player, Nkunku seeing Gallagher push up into the number 10, and Bruya came on for Mykhailo Mudryk. So we had a sort of two-striker system. Bruya looking a little bit better, actually, than we've recently seen. And, of course, Thiago Silva coming on, which is the move at the back that saw Levi Colwill come off, Gusto move to the left, and Disasi become a right back, which, we all have our opinions on. Top line stats. Ooh, we only had 9 shots to their 11, which is worrying, but we had over 65% possession, which you kind of would expect. Better pass success rate and less dribbles. Interestingly, I suppose they've got Eze and Elise, and we are without Cole Palmer, and we only brought Madueke on late, which is one of Chelsea's dribblers. 3 corners apiece. And to be honest, look, it was a pretty even game. Chelsea were probably just good value for the win in the end. Very narrow margin. We are shaky. We're in shaky form, We're all over the gaff at the moment. But we got an early goal in this game. Malo Gusto, who I said won man of the match on the Amazon Prime coverage, assisted Mykhailo Mudryk in the 13th minute. Excellent move from Malo Gusto. Actually good work from Nkunku as well, playing in the number 10. We know he can combine well. He's one of our more senior players, Nkunku, in terms of the attack. And it just looks pretty good, man. Looks pretty darn good. Mykhailo Mudryk getting a relatively easy finish, but it was quick coming towards him. Mudryk getting the odd goal for Chelsea now, slowly being trusted. I've been very mindful with Mudryk with my commentary on him, not to big him up, not to slag him off when it's not going well, just sort of asserting to you guys that this kid is, he's got talent, he's got potential, and not for necessarily this stuff, but for some really sensational stuff, like high octane transitional super goals and running really fast. He's got that in his locker, we'll wait and see, but for the meantime, he's being coached slowly, drip feed, getting the odd goal, getting the odd assist, helping out, making mistakes as well. So it's not all good. I've seen really poor moments from him last few games as well. But I'm just mindful not to praise or slate him. I just want to he's one of those players that you just sort of want to let him go about his business, give him more time in the settled side, which is not really a freedom that's been afforded to him at Chelsea, whether it's teammates or manager. It's all been change. But he got the goal today, the opener. Unfortunately, that was cancelled out by Michael Elise equaliser. Got to the far post, touch and finish. I mean, it was quality from Michael Elise. I don't know what else you'd expect from a Chelsea Academy graduate. Excellent stuff indeed from Elise. Of course, we tried to buy him in the summer. Parish got pissed off, threatened to sue us, and we ended up signing Cole Palmer. Everything worked out okay for us in that sense, in terms of our target, because he would have cost at least 40 million that we paid on Palmer. An amazing player, though. Let's not be silly here, Michael Elise. Really a bit poor from Levi Colwill. I think maybe Martin was bullied off the ball. We will talk about him in a moment in terms of player performances. But that's the 46th minute, and we're 1-1, and this game could go either way, and everyone's worrying. I did a halftime live like I do every single Chelsea game on my Instagram. If you want to become a part of that, you are welcome to follow me on Instagram at FootballYannick, and we discussed the first half like we always do. And then we get into the second half. Caicedo gets booked. Pochettino makes a bunch of changes between the 58th and 71st minute. He takes off Martson and Colwill. He always takes off Colwill. It's the thing he does. Whether it's a temperament thing, like he feels like he's a kid losing his mind, or perhaps it's a fitness thing. But he brings on Martson, and he brings off Martson also. Brings on Thiago Silva, and before the hour mark, which is pretty big really, before the hour mark, we see a Romeo Lavia debut, and I think he did okay, all things considered. In the 71st minute, we see Nkunku come off. This shouldn't surprise anyone. It's a fitness thing. First start for Chelsea, trying to integrate him into the side. Some good moments, but yeah, I have to be honest. Like your opinion may differ to me, but I've got no issue him taking off Nkunku after over 70 minutes in his first start for Chelsea. And he brings on Madueke. He takes off Mudryk. Sort of similar vibes, really. Mudryk can sort of fizzle out a little bit, especially after 70 minutes. That shouldn't be the case long term into his adult career, as he gets more comfortably into his 20s, I mean. But for the moment, fair enough, especially for the profile of player. And Breuer comes on, and we are chasing a winner. Ayew comes off for Schlupp, and yes, Chelsea win a penalty in the 89th minute. Noni Madueke wins a penalty from, is it even Elise? I think it might, is it Elise or Eze? I think it might be Eze. It's one of the two superstar kids. I think, yeah, great work from Madueke. And I say it before, I say it again on the channel, Madueke is one of our few proper ball-carrying, dribbling players. Maybe Cole Palmer likes to float between the line. Sterling is direct, but does far too much diving. But in terms of keeping the ball very close to your feet and dribbling, Noni Madueke is sort of the one. I think we had kind of like Kovacic, as a dribbler, obviously Hazard. But these players that can sort of dribble with the ball really close to them to draw fouls, Madueke is one of those guys. He wins the penalty, and it is a penalty. It takes a while for it to be granted by VAR, but it is a penalty, and, it looks like Jackson picks up. We'll speak about him and his chances in a moment. But no, Noni Madueke, confident boy, come back from injury, but also frustrated that he hasn't played much. Scores what is a very cool, calm, and collected penalty, putting Chelsea 2-1 up going into stoppage time, of which there was 8 minutes. A little bit of chances both sides. Conor Gallagher, smart, takes the ball into the corner, and Alfie Gilchrist comes on, the youngster for Benoit Badiashile. Chelsea see out a 2-1 win in the London derby against Crystal Palace. Again, we have a great record against them, but nothing is a given at the moment. Festive period games are tricky, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing is a given, and I'm looking now. Manchester City have come back against Everton, but they were 1-0 down. It's a very, very difficult time of year in terms of results. But let's talk about player performances, shall we? Because I think that's important at the moment in a time where we don't know what's what and who's who. Petrovic, despite conceding another goal, I think it was very good. I think I'm actually very pleased with Petrovic. He looks calm. He's made a couple of great saves. I think certainly one very good save in this game. Made a couple of saves. He's sort of going about his business, making a couple of saves per game. One usually pretty good. His passing seems fine. Certainly, it's not the point of people going, "Oh, this young MLS keeper can't pass." No, he's just going about his business totally fine. You can't really give him a bigger compliment than that. Badiashile was okay. Again, whenever I give my opinions on these players, please do feel free to comment and correct me down in the comment section below. Badiashile was okay. I think he's been shaky of late, but he's okay. Disasi, pretty good. I saw him do a couple of good things. Levi Colwill, sort of fine. I think he did get a little bit lost on the goal, but maybe the weakest of defenders. Of course, Silva came on, had great moments. The midfield, Caicedo got a yellow. I saw loads of people giving him hate in the halftime Instagram live show that I did. Again, at Football Yannick, if you want to follow me on Instagram for said lives. I didn't necessarily see him do anything super bad in the first half, but I thought he was fine. Again, I see him as a young player that will probably do better when Chelsea as a team settle, And in the midfield, partnering him, Conor Gallagher. I mean, great. You know, I can't. Well, not necessarily galactico and sexy, but smart, intelligent, did the right thing. You know, did some good challenges. I'm looking at who scored. He's our second highest ranked player here behind Malagusto. And by the way, I forgot to mention Malagusto as our defender here. For me, he's my player of the match, as well as being Amazon Prime's player of the match. Excellent work. When we were looking quite good, when James was out and he was coming in and looking like a Reece James type of player, we were like, oh yeah, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We got Malagusto ready to step in for him. And then Chelsea got a little bit worrying, a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more apocalyptic again. And then people forgot about that maybe. Obviously, he went out with injury. He's come back. He's just looked good. He got the assist, of course, here. For the opening goal. I think he was just superb. And like I said, he won player of the match, which is really, really good for him. So good on him. Caicedo fine. Gallagher good. Let's talk about the attackers. Ian Maatsen, I actually think was pretty poor. But I feel bad for the lad as well. He's gone from last year playing as a left back all season and getting into the season as a left back. Look, Gusto moved to left back here and was wicked. So I'm not really complaining to Pochettino much. But yeah, I do feel a little bit bad for Maatsen. He looks like he's getting bullied a little bit from left back to right wing. You can't get more opposite on the pitch, except for maybe playing striker and the goalkeeper. Obviously, the idea is to invert him as a left footer on the right wing. But I don't know, man. I do think he's not going to be with us long term. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but that's what I think. Nkunku, fine. Of course, he scored a good goal last time out when he came off the bench, when he had a full game here playing as a number 10. I'll be very interested to see where he ends up long term in terms of truly finding the best position for him. I'm not sure it's going to be number 10 personally, but clearly it's just Pochettino's a 4-2-3-1 man. Do you know what I mean? So that was his pre-season plan. He obviously had planned that for a long time. He wants to see it again. He looked okay there. Madueke, good. Still showing these flawed moments. But again, I'm not going to criticise him for that because it's just, part of the course. Obviously scored the goal. Right place, right time. Hit it in. Thank you very much, Misha. Can't really ask for you anymore. And obviously it was a decisive goal here. Nico Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tough one, isn't it? Nico Jackson missed an absolute sitter, but again he gets into the positions, and then scored what could have been the winner, but it was a couple of inches offside with his knee or something, and it was a great finish as well. It was a great finish, so it's very frustrating when that happens. Like, oh, a lovely goal finish. Oh, you're a bit unlucky there, lad. It's not even like you went way too early. It's kind of like relatively marginal offside. So he's kind of doing things right. I just don't know about Jackson. I mean, I guess my position remains the same of like he'd be a really good sort of understudy second striker behind a first choice striker, which may become the case after January. But that's kind of how I feel still, I don't want to slag him off. He's been frustrating. The fans have been giving him grief, but, he missed the sitter, poor. He nearly scored the winner. Very unlucky not to have it. But ultimately, next player bailed out from Noni Madueke, which is, gone to a bit of a fight. Chelsea fans like that, shows a bit of heart. Won the penalty really, really well by showing his dribbling skills and converted the penalty, which was ultimately the winner in very cool, calm, collected fashion in Cole Palmer style, who of course he's friends with and an England under-21 international with. Chelsea 2, Crystal Palace 1. We take the points, we move, ladies and gentlemen. It's very hard to get overly excited with this one, isn't it? Because it's a good win for Chelsea, but it's, you haven't learned too much. We've learnt Noni Madueke is still a pretty good player that can do bits. Kind of knew that already. Should he be starting for Chelsea? No. Cole Palmer should be starting for Chelsea in that position. But he should be utilised, and he was. But the thing is, he was utilised today and scored the goal. So is it perfect management from Pochettino? I mean, what did I learn today? Not much about Petrovic. I know he's looking pretty good. Gusto reminded me that he can be very good. Nice to see Lavia. Nice to see Nkunku get his first start. Gallagher's continued being good. Jackson's continued showing elements of positivity and frustration. Really, Madueke showed, he's the guy and he's confident. So I put it out to you guys. Let me know what you think. I'm always very interested in learning your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Please leave it here on down in the comment section. Remember, daily videos here on the channel and back in the studio tomorrow. So make sure you hit the bell if you choose to subscribe. And I thank you for liking the video. I look forward to reading your comments. And hopefully I'll see you guys back here very soon. Peace.